everyone just a moment to do the little acknowledge thing. If you have any audio questions or challenges, please just let me know. We are trying a new location today, so I don't know if my headphones are going to work as well, but we'll give it a try. So we're going to come into a comfortable seated position at the top of the mat. Generally speaking, I like to have the hips above the knees. Just gets a posterior and a good, good alignment. I often use a block. I'm going to have a block here. I'm not going to use it today. So we're just going to come into a comfortable seated position. Just close our eyes and settle in. We'll be here for just a few moments. So just take a moment to arrive, to come into this space and prepare yourself for the next 55 minutes or so. So if we close our eyes, maybe we start to listen to our breath. Notice our breath moving in and out through the body, through the container. And without changing your breath, just notice where the breath goes as you breathe in and as you breathe out. So you might find that the breath comes into your shoulders. You might find that the breath comes into your belly. Know that that's okay. But we're going to try and bring the breath down into the body. So as you breathe in, try and let your belly expand. And then as you exhale, maybe that belly tightens up just a little bit. And what we're doing by moving the breath deeper down is just to take some of the stress out of your shoulders. Good, and so notice as you bring the breath down, your shoulders stop moving so much, right? You don't want a lot of movement in the shoulders just now. We want a little bit of calm and quiet as we prepare for a lovely, relaxing practice. And now that we've started to pay attention to the location of the breath, maybe start to pay attention to the breath as you draw it in and you release it. So we'll breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. You're all on mute, so if you just want to flutter your lips, that's okay. We'll take one more breath. And exhale. On the next inhale, you're just going to bring your arms above your head. Just imagine you're holding a space or a container of light above your head. As you breathe in and out, just imagine the support that you are giving to this outside of body thing. And as you exhale, bring that container down in front of you into prayer. And just one more time, inhale, hands to the sky. And exhale, bring that lovely energy into self. Leave your hands here in prayer, eyes closed. And take a moment here to find an intention or dedication for your practice today. Beautiful. And on the next inhale, raise your arms up to the sky. And exhale, twist over to the right. Left hand coming to the right leg as you find a gentle twist. Maybe looking over the right shoulder. As you inhale, find a little bit of length through the spine. And exhale, twist a little deeper. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale deeper. Good. Inhale back to center. And exhale to the second side. Inhale, find some length. Exhale, twist deeper. Inhale, find length. And exhale deeper. Good. Inhale back to center. And as you exhale, bring your right arm down to side you and use that stability of the right hand as you find a little bit of length through the left side body. You know, in this pose, it's really easy to collapse into the right side. Try and keep length in that right side as you extend the left arm up and over. Good. Inhale back to center. And exhale to the second side. Good. Inhale back to center. And exhale, bring your hands to your knees. And we're just going to take some seated cat-cows here. So as you inhale, bring your heart forward through the window of your arms. And as you exhale, dome your shoulders, arch your back, and maybe find a little bit of a space in your back body. Good. Inhale, heart forward. And exhale, doming the shoulders. Good. Inhale, we'll come back to center. And to open up the neck, we're just going to start from a seated position, dropping the right ear to the right shoulder. You know, everyone's neck is slightly different. There are so many muscles that go along the left side of the neck. So if you find that turning your chin one way or the other gives you more sensation or gives your body what it craves, you can feel free to do so now. So maybe you take your left, maybe you look to the left corner of the room, or maybe you look at your right knee, or maybe you just look forward and find a little bit of length along the left side of the neck. Good. Inhale back to center. We'll come back to that side in a moment. And exhale, dropping the left ear to the left shoulder as we find a little bit of opening on the second side. And again, you can use that chin rotation to explore, find what your body is craving. Like this feels really good to me right now, bringing the left shoulder to the chin, or bringing the chin to the shoulder. Good. Inhale brings you back to center. So we're going to go a little bit deeper this time. So you're going to bring your left arm out to the side as though you were pushing a wall away from you. And use that pushing force to give a little bit of space as you drop your right shoulder to your right ear to your right shoulder. You'll notice this feels a little bit different. If it doesn't, that's okay. And if you want a little bit more, you can start to lower your arm actively to the ground and notice how that changes the sensation in the neck. If you want to go deeper, maybe that right arm comes to the side of the head and gently gives a little bit of a reminding pull to the neck. But don't pull too hard here. We're trying to loosen and engage the neck, not stress it out. Good. Inhale brings you back to center, and we'll come to the second side just by bringing the right arm out to the side. And again, just notice how pushing the world away from you changes the sensation in the upper trapezius and the neck. And your hand can come down if it wants. Noticing how this changes the sensation. And again, if you want to bring that left hand to the right side of the head, you can always give a little bit of a tug. Good. Inhale brings you back to center. And exhale comes forward into a tabletop position. So tabletop position, wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. And we're just going to go through just a couple of cat-cows just to get a different shape. We did this just a moment ago in a seated position, but as you inhale, bring your chest through the window of your arms, drop your belly, and look forward. And then as you exhale, you dome your shoulders, pull your belly up and pull your pelvis in. Inhale, cow one more time, dropping to the ground. And exhale, cat. Inhale, bring you to center. Good. For threading the needle, we're just going to bring our left arm up to the sky, opening our heart to the right, to the left for just a moment. And then as you exhale, bring that left arm through the window of your right, maybe bringing your ear to the ground. Get a nice opening in the upper back. And from here, your right arm could come forward and up, maybe to the top left corner of the mat, but just notice how this opens up your upper back. So if the sensation moves to your shoulders, to your lower back, just ease out of it a little. Good, bring the right arm back to center, and then inhale, open that left arm all the way up to the sky. And exhale, set it down. Beautiful. Inhale brings that right arm up to the sky. I don't know about you, but my left knee always likes to creep out in this position. So that's okay, everybody is different. And then as you exhale, bring that right arm through the window of your left, threading the needle on the second side. And again, you're trying to open up the upper back here. You can bring the left arm to the top right corner of the mat, if that helps you get deeper into the pose. Good, and bring the left arm back to center. And on the inhale, raise that right arm all the way up to the sky. And exhale, set it down. Good. So you're next going to inhale, bring that left leg up and back. So in this position, this is an important position to come into, just so you can check in with your core and your lower back. So it's really tempting to dump all of that energy into your lower back, you know, maybe let your belly hang, but in this position, you really want to activate your core, trying to keep a flat back, and then use your glutes and your hamstrings to raise your left leg up to the sky. Good. And then you're going to bend the left knee. And then if this is okay, if this is comfortable, if you can maintain your balance, you're going to take that right arm first forward, then up and back, trying to find the outside edge of the right leg. Good. It's a wonderful chest opener, heart opener. And in this position, you want to push the tops of your foot into your hand, and in doing so, you actually activate your quads and maybe open your heart a little deeper. Good. Exhale, release your hand, bring your hand and foot, knee to the ground. Maybe shake it out. And then we'll come to the second side. So the right leg comes up and back. And again, check in with that core, make sure that that core is active and engaged, protecting the lower back in this position. So your abdomen does all the hard work of protecting your lower back. So if you feel like you have lower back pain, well, unless you're pregnant, in which case, you know, somebody else to blame for the lower back pain. But But I find that when I'm standing and I get tired in the lower back, it's often because I'm dumping all of my energy there instead of activating the core. Good. And then we're going to bend the right leg. And again, windmill the left arm forward, up and back, bringing it to the outside edge of the right foot. And using the active connection between your foot and your hand to open your heart a little bit. Good. And then when you're ready, you can release your foot, hand to the ground. And then we're going to bring our knees wide and then sit back onto our heels to come into a child's pose position. Child's pose is an active pose. You're letting your beer belly, well, letting my beer belly hang through the window of the legs. And maybe bring your forehead to the ground, arms active and engaged, reaching out in front of you. This is a wonderful pose to open up the lower back, take all of the pressure out of that pose, out of that part of the body, not the pose. Good. And then inhale, bring back up to tabletop position, bringing the knees back under the hips. And then as we exhale, we're going to tuck the toes and raise the knees about an inch above the ground. I love to welcome my core to the practice with a little bit of a position like this. And then when you're ready, bring your hips up and back and come into your first downward facing dog. I want to take a moment here, so take an inventory of how your feet are pushing into the ground, how your knees are pulling up and back. You're externally rotating your arms, which means that you're trying to bring the creases of the elbow to point forward. And you're actively grabbing the earth with your hands, transferring the energy out of the heel of your hand, which is where your carpal tunnel is, and into your knuckles. Beautiful. Inhale brings that left leg up and back. And again, check with your core, make sure that your core is active and engaged here, protecting your lower back as your hamstring and glutes are firing. Bring the left leg up and back. And then exhale, bring that left leg forward, dropping the right knee to the earth as you come into a low crescent lunge, untucking the right foot, opening up into Anjaneyasana, or low crescent lunge, left leg forward. In low crescent lunge, your hands can be on your knees, they can be up into the sky. I really like starting with my hand on my knee at first, just because that gives me a little bit of stability in this pose, especially if it's my first stand pose. Just looking to open up that right psoas muscle. So the psoas muscle is this big old muscle that runs down through your pelvis bone, and it gets really short when you sit at a desk all day. Good. And then as you exhale, we're just going to bring our hips back and straighten the left foot. Maybe bring the left toes up as we straighten the left leg and open up the hamstrings. This is an Ardha Hanuman, or half splits. If you're into it, you can totally go full splits, but we have not warmed up at all, so I do not recommend it. And again, you can take your toes out to the left, maybe bring them clockwise or counterclockwise, and notice how that changes the sensation in your hamstrings. Good. And then on the inhale, we're going to come back forward into a low crescent lunge for just a moment. And then we're going to tuck the right toes and bring the left foot to meet the right and come back into downward facing dog. And notice how the legs feel a little bit different. Maybe the back of the left leg feels a little bit looser. Maybe that right leg feels like it can float just a little bit higher. And then as we inhale, we're going to raise that right leg up into the sky. And again, check with our lower back, make sure our hamstrings and our glutes are actively pulling that right leg back without compromising the lower back. Good, and then as we exhale, we're gonna bring that right foot forward, come into low crescent lunge or Anjaneyasana on the second side. Untucking the left toes. Maybe you bring your hands to your right knee or up above you, whatever your body is doing today. And just breathe into that sensation, that tightness, knowing that this is just your body's way of letting you know what's going on. And just like you maybe check in with your spouse, your coworkers, or your friends, and you say, hey, how are you doing today? Well, maybe they don't always just say, oh, everything's fine. Maybe they have something real to say, just like your psoas is maybe telling you right now, hey, I don't like it when you sit at a computer all day. Who knew? And then as we exhale, we're gonna straighten that right leg, coming back, hips over your left knee as you open up your right hamstrings, and a half splits on the second side. Maybe rotating the toes, clockwise or counterclockwise, to find that part of your hamstrings or your calves that needs the attention today. Good. And as we inhale, we're going to come back forward into a low crescent lunge for just a moment. On the inhale, and then on the exhale, we're going to bring our hands to either side of the right foot, tuck the left toes, and step on back to downward facing dog. Good, and now that we're here, maybe pedal out the legs a little. So just straighten one leg and then the other, bending the opposite knee. It's good to open up the calves a little bit in this pose. Maybe give your belly a gentle massage. Good, and then as you inhale, we're gonna bring the left foot up and back one more time. And exhale brings the left foot forward between the hands. And we're gonna bring the right foot heel to the ground and open up into a warrior two. Yeah. Warrior two, your left knee is aligned with your left foot, hands out to either side. And check in with your hips here. Make sure that your hips are pointing off to the side. So warrior two, you're opening your left hip joint, getting a little bit of an opening here on the inside of the left leg. And you're using the outside edge of the right foot to hold on as you come perhaps a little deeper. Good, and then without changing the shape of your legs, we're just gonna flip the left palm up to the sky and open up into a peaceful warrior. And then as you exhale, straighten that left foot. We're coming into triangle pose, and then use that left arm coming all the way out to the side. Reach, 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 reach. And then when you've reached as far as you can, only then let your arm come down to your leg. Your right hand can stay on your hip, gives you a lovely sense of stability, or you can raise your right arm up to the sky. And in this position, just imagine you're setting your back up against a brick wall. Something stable and immovable. Good. And then as you inhale, slowly, slowly changing the shape of your legs, come on up to warrior two arms. And then as you exhale, we're gonna bring the left foot, pivot it forward so that we're now in a wide-legged straddle pose. That's a pose called star pose. As you inhale, maybe raise your arms up to the sky. And exhale, forward fold into a wide-legged forward fold. Good. And in this position, your hands can be in a number of places depending on what's calling to you today. So if your hands go out forward, good to open up the lower back. Maybe your hands come between the window of your arms. If you're looking for a little bit more in your shoulders and upper back, maybe your hands are just on the ground, right underneath your shoulders, and that's okay too. Good. Inhale up to a flat back. And then as you exhale, we're going to just turn a little bit to the right and bring your hands to the right foot. So forward fold over the right side. Good. Inhale brings you back to center. And exhale brings you to the second side. So hands are just coming to your foot as you fold over to one side, over to the left knee, left leg. Good. Inhale brings you back to center. And then with your hands on your hips, we'll just come up slowly on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So for a gentle heart opener, or not so gentle heart opener, we're just going to bring our hands behind us. So the goal here is to open the front of the chest, the top of the shoulders, or the front of the shoulders right near the collarbone. So you can, super simply, just grab opposite forearms. If that's all you need today, that's all you should do. Or if you're feeling super ambitious, maybe your hands interlace and come together, opening the heart up to the sky, and then forward folding once again with the arms coming with you. And then using the strength of your arms, maybe pull yourself back up to a standing position. Oh, I always find that a little bit challenging. The front of my shoulders are very tight. So you can let go of your arms. And we're going to pivot the right foot to the back of the mat and come into Warrior Two on the second side. So this time your right knee is over your right ankle, outside edge of the left foot grabbing the earth so that you maybe come a little deeper. And just stay here for a moment, breathing into maybe your hamstrings are working super hard, maybe your quads. And then as you flip the right hand, palm to the sky, without changing the shape of your legs, open up into a peaceful warrior. This is a lovely side body opener. And then as you exhale, straighten that right leg, and we're going to come into triangle pose on the second side. So again, without bending over the leg, we're just going to reach forward as far as we can, right arm, as though your best friend is trying to pull you to the next exciting opportunity. And then only when you've got to that point where you're like, you know what, enough is enough, you can bring that right arm down to the leg, maybe to the inside or outside of the leg or to a block. And your left arm can go up to the sky, maybe stays on your hip. Just try to avoid collapsing into the right side body. So you want to keep some length in the right side body, otherwise this is going to feel really uncomfortable. And again, imagining that you're lying your back across a brick wall or some other stable supporting structure. And when you've had enough of that, without changing the shape of your legs, we're going to come all the way back up. Warrior Two arms. And then bend the right knee, come into warrior two for just a moment. And then as you exhale, windmill your arms to the back of the mat this time, stepping into a backwards downward facing dog. And again, pedal out your legs. Take a moment here to check in with how your down dog has changed. And then as you inhale, raise that right leg up to the sky. Bend the right knee and open your hips to the side. Maybe rotating the ankle clockwise and then counterclockwise. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring that right leg forward to the outside edge of your mat. So we're coming into lizard. And you can lower your left knee to the ground, on your toes. If you're looking for a little bit extra, you can always tuck those toes and keep that leg straight. That's a little bit more challenging, but challenging isn't always the right thing to do. Good, and maybe you lower your elbows to the ground. We'll just be here for 3 more breaths. And then without changing the shape of your legs, we're going to come back up onto your arms. And then to come into corkscrew, you're going to bend the left knee. So this is often pretty hard on the left knee. So if you have padding or you want to double fold the mat, you can do so now. You're going to bend the left knee so that your heel is trying to come towards your bum. This should feel super energetic in your hamstrings. And then as you inhale, raise that right arm to the sky. And exhale, find the outside edge of that right foot of that left foot with your right hand. Opening your heart to the sky. So this is both a quad stretch and a back bend. So you're opening the front of your left foot as you open your heart to the sky. And then when you're ready, let go of that left foot. Bring your hand back down inside the right foot. And then from here, we are going to just walk our hands out to the left a little bit. So you're still keeping those lizard legs for just a moment as you walk your hands out to the left and then push your hips back. This is just a different way into that side body stretch. Good. And then as you inhale, you're just going to bring your hands back up to center and straighten that left foot. Pivot the left foot so that we come back into that wide-legged forward fold one more time. So again, your feet are pigeon-toed, so that means the toes are pointed slightly in further than the heels. And we're coming into the second of 2 forward fold positions. If a headstand is in your practice, you're certainly welcome to take it now. Otherwise, just let the sensation that you're looking for arrive. Now is a good time to come back to the breath, come back into the moment. Maybe remember what sparked this practice today. Beautiful. And then if you're in a handstand or a headstand, you're certainly welcome to stay there for a moment longer. We're gonna make our way to lizard on the second side. So maybe come up to a flat back, and then we're gonna pivot the left heel in and walk our arms to the inside of the left foot. And that right foot stays back and maybe comes up onto the heel. And we're just gonna come into lizard on the second side. And again, you can lower that knee to the ground. You can lower your elbows to the ground. This side is always a little bit tighter for me. Oof. And then if you're on your elbows, we'll come back onto the knee, onto the hands. And again, we're just gonna make our way into corkscrew, but start by bending that right foot. So before you even engage the upper body, just notice how taking that right foot up and back towards your bum activates the hamstrings, activates the glutes. Those are your butt muscles. And then when you're ready, we'll take that left arm up and back and find the outside edge of the right foot, this time with your left hand. And again, this is a heart opener as in addition to being a quad opener. So try and find a little bit of a back bend here. Beautiful. And when you feel complete, we're going to let go of that right foot, bring the foot down to the ground, tucking the toes, hands on the inside of the foot, and then stepping back into downward dog, maybe one last time. We're not doing anything fancy from here. We're just going to be here for 5 breaths. So if you want to fidget or explore, maybe bend your knees, bend your elbows. Take a moment here just to explore this pose. Maybe pedal out your feet or see what your shoulders are doing. The downward dog is a lovely inversion. And just something that we often skip through too quickly. Good, and then as you exhale, we're just gonna bring our knees to the ground. And with your hips above your knees, just start to walk your hands forward into a puppy pose. So in the puppy pose, you're basically just trying to bring your heart to the ground. Maybe it's your forehead. Maybe if you've got really open upper back, you start to feel this in. Maybe you bring your heart to the ground, maybe your chin to the ground. And then as you inhale, we're just going to walk the arms back. And then sit back on your heels. So if you have a towel, it's always a lovely idea, especially when we're doing shoulder openers like the one we're about to do. If you don't have a towel, you can always just grab onto the shirt. So I'm going to try and do this slightly angled so that you can see, yes, so you can see both my front and my back because I have a mirror today. So as you inhale, we're just going to bring the left arm open, so that the palm is facing forward. And then bring the arm up and then bend the elbow to reach, maybe to put your hand between your shoulder blades. Now, the right arm, you know what the pose is, your right arm's ultimately gonna go under, but before you do that, just use your right arm to grab the left elbow and maybe bring it a little bit more snug against the head. And so when your forearm is in contact with the base of your skull, you get a nice level of support there that you don't normally get if your arm is just out here off to the side. And then, if this is enough, you can stay here. Otherwise, you can bring that right arm, palm facing the wall behind you, and bring that back and up. And then if you have a strap, you would have the strap between your hands. Or maybe you grab your shirt. Or maybe, if you're feeling particularly open today, maybe your hands come together. Now in this pose, make those ribs love to come forward. So what you want to do is try and knit those ribs together, activating your core to maybe bring your, maybe you're dumping all that energy into your lower back again. So just activate your core again, pulling your belly back just a little, knitting your ribs together as you open up your shoulders. And if you want to get a little bit of a neck opener here, you can even bring your neck, your right ear to your right shoulder, just to get one extra bit of stretching. That neck feels so good that you almost forget how tired your arms are from holding that strap or the shirt. Good, bring the head back to center and release. And slowly, slowly bring the arms out and just shake them out a little bit. There's nothing more fun than shaking out some limbs after you've been in an interesting pose. Good. And then before we come to the second side, just check in with those shoulders. Maybe we take a moment as we inhale, bring those shoulders up to the ears. And then as we exhale, bring those shoulders back and down. Good. Inhale brings the shoulders up to the ears. And exhale back and down. So when you're doing this pose, you really want your shoulders here, back and down, rather than up towards your ears. And I bring this up now because I got a really bad rotator cuff injury a while back doing exactly this pose. And lo and behold, it was because that shoulder was up towards the ear and I did something funky with my arm. So as we activate those shoulder blades, pulling the shoulders back and down, you're helping to protect the rotator cuff as we go through this pose. So on the inhale, we'll bring that right arm this time, palm facing the wall in front of you. And then as we inhale or exhale, I don't think it matters, right arm up to the ear, and then bend that right arm, ultimately hoping to put it between the shoulder blades. And then we're going to bring that left arm up to give it a little bit of help, just to bring it up closer to snug up that bicep with the back of the spine, maybe the forearm with the back of the skull. And again, you can stay here. It's not like you're on camera. Or you can bring that left arm out to the side, palm facing the world behind you. Again, noting how this motion wants to bring that shoulder up and forward, but you really want to use those back muscles to bring this back and down. And then that left arm can come up and come perhaps to grab the strap or the shirt, or if you're feeling particularly open today, maybe they come together. Checking in with those ribs, making sure the ribs are knitted together. So ribs knit together, shoulders back and down. And again, from here, you maybe drop your left ear to your left shoulder just to get a little bit of a neck stretch, just to sneak in one more neck stretch while we're going through this practice. Doesn't confuse the biology to do so. Just brings awareness to a separate part, and that's okay. Good, inhale brings your neck back up to center. And then as you exhale, gently release the straps or the shirt or your hands. And again, just give those arms just a little bit of a wiggle. Head feels good. And then we're gonna sit up on our knees. So I don't know about you, but my feet are kind of sore. So I'm just gonna tap the tops of my feet on the earth. And then with that being complete, we are making our way onto our backs. And we're gonna do one more hamstring opening. And yeah, that's probably all we have time for. So we're gonna come down onto the ground, feet straight, lower back flat against the earth. You know, it's really tempting. Your lower back actually loves to come off the earth, right? If you can put your hand underneath your spine, you'll want to sort of adjust yourself so that so this guy can't come underneath and show his face on the other side. So you want to bring that lower back to the ground. And then we're going to bring that left foot up to the sky. And then if you can, so we're gonna try and grab the foot with your left hand, but if that's not in your practice today, you can instead grab your left knee. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just not feeling it today. And I'm feeling it, but not this particular pose. So you're just gonna grab that left foot with your left hand or maybe your left knee. And then we're gonna gently open that left leg up. So you're trying to bring that left knee to the outside of your left hip. And again, maybe your leg is straight, maybe it's not, but you're just trying to get a little bit of sensation in the inner hamstring. And just breathe into this position. Try and keep that right hip on the ground, by the way. Of course, it loves to sneak up, but if it starts to sneak up, your left leg might be out too far. Just bring it in a little and notice how that slight easing of the position gives your body the space it needs to adapt to the pose that you're trying to get into. Good, bring that left leg back up to center. And if your leg is straight, you can bend it. And we're just gonna hug the left leg in. And just give it a hug. 3, for 2, and for 1. Laying the left leg long. Notice how it feels when the right leg. And then we're gonna bring the right leg up and up just like we did before. And again, if you want to, you can try and grab your right foot with your right hand, but it is very hot outside. So what I'm going to do is grab the right knee with my right arm. And again, trying to keep the lower back on the ground, trying to keep the left hip on the ground. We're gonna open the right knee to the side. Good, inhale brings that right leg up to center. And if the right leg is straight, you can bend it. Grab the right knee and just give that leg a hug. And then exhale, set it down. We have time for one final pose. So if you want to come into any pose of your choosing, now's the time to do it. Maybe you come into shoulder stand or happy baby. I like happy baby because I have a happy baby. She makes me giggle, so I like to do this pose because it reminds me of her. My sweet little 1-year-old. So happy baby, you just grab your knees and bring them up and open. And then you reach through the window of your legs to grab the outside edge of your feet. And use this to get one final opening in the hamstrings. And if you're doing one side of a pose, if you came into one side of a pose earlier on, you can start to come into the second side. Good. And then if you were in a second side, slowly make your way back to center. Or come into Shavasana or corpse pose. So just let your legs come to the ground, heels to the earth, back of the knees to the earth. And you've been holding on to so many poses for so long, so just take this moment to let go completely. And as we release any tension or attention to your breath, just let the breath go loose and do whatever it wants to do. Let go of your shoulders, your neck, just let those hang loose. Try and release any energy in your lower back. Maybe you just need to rotate your legs a little. Maybe they're in an awkward position. Maybe they're perfect the way they are. Well, Shavasana is such an important pose. It's a moment for the body to integrate, learn, and recover. It gives your body the moment it needs to retrospect. So we'll be here for about 3 minutes. If you need to go, you're certainly welcome to go, but if you'd like to sit in Shavasana, I will sit with you. And as you sit in this pose, maybe you sit in some other place, but know that it is time to come back and come back slowly. Bring something with you from this space, from this wonderful, personal, sacred space and bring it with you into this world as you bring some attention to your fingers and your toes. Reflect on what actions this energy, this sacred space can do as you bring some awareness to your wrists and your ankles. Letting this energy flow through you as you wake your knees and your elbows. And integrate. Find this energy coming into your center as you wake up your hips, your shoulders, and your neck. Gently rolling to one side, maybe letting your arm rest, act as a pillow for your head. And then when you're ready, using your arm strength, come back to a seated position, eyes closed. Maybe with your hands in prayer in front of you. It is such a joy teaching this class with all of you. You bring such energy, such passion. And even though it's digital, I feel and appreciate and love your energy. Namaste.